Hey guys, today we're going to be making a vanilla slice. I'm going to be doing this, believe it or not, for the first time, but I want to learn new recipes, I want to learn new cooking techniques. So we're not going to make the pastry, but we are going to make the creme patissiere, or the creme pat, and obviously we're going to layer it up and we're going to put our nice icing on top of it and we're going to make it absolutely delicious. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get our ready-made puff pastry, because I'm not making that at the moment. It's not too difficult to make, but you know, time. I'm going to roll this out, we're going to cut it to size, and we're going to sandwich it between two baking pans and then chuck it in the oven until it's cooked. And while that's cooking, we're going to make our creme pat. Now we've got that rolled out, we're going to measure it to the size of this tray, roughly. We're not going to be getting a measuring tape or anything. Yeah, we're going to flip this over onto this baking paper. And then the next thing we do is prick it with a fork all the way over. Because what we don't want to do, basically we're going to sandwich this because we do not want the puff pastry to rise all the way up. You don't have to be too neat with this. Just prick it all the way along so the air and the steam that's going to be created inside the layers of the pastry has got somewhere to go, basically, so it doesn't puff up. You don't have to be too neat about it. Another sheet of baking paper just on the top. And then we're going to chuck that on there, and hopefully that will be sandwiching it enough. So we're going to pop it in the oven, and we're just going to cook that, according to the cooking instructions. Chuck that in there for however long it needs to go in. Right, while that's cooking, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to make the creme patisserie. So I'm going to chuck our milk in this pan, and I'm going to put that, I need to add, vanilla. We're going with good old Madagascan vanilla extract. And then we're going to put this on the hob on a low to medium heat. And we're going to stir it occasionally. And you take it straight off the heat when it starts to bubble. So we'll put that on now. So next step, we're going to get a clean bowl and we're going to add the sugar and cornstarch. And we're going to add egg yolks to this. I've got 8 egg yolks because, like I said, I'm making a lot of this stuff. So we're going to take sugar. We're going to take cornstarch. Just give that a little mix to combine it first of all. And then we're going to add 8 egg yolks to this, and we're going to keep beating this until it becomes a smooth consistency. Make sure you get all that egg yolk out. This delicious golden egg yolk, look at it. Oh. And you want to whisk this together quite vigorously until it's nice and smooth. You want to incorporate all of that sugar and flour equally through this mixture. And while you're doing that, you want to add a couple of pinches of salt to this as well. I'm using pink Himalayan salt because why not? And it's all that was available. Okay, that's looking pretty good to me. So we're gonna go and check our milk, give it a little stir, and we'll come back to this when it's ready. Right, our milk's looking just about done now. So there's a lot of bubbles on it. We're gonna turn it off the heat and we're just gonna give it a minute to cool before we move on to the next step. Right, I've just taken the milk off the heat. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna grab about a 1/4 cup of this and we're gonna add it slowly to the egg mixture while whisking. This is to temper the eggs. Otherwise, as I have done in the past when making custard, you end up with scrambled egg, and that's definitely not what we want. Add a little bit of this at a time. This is just tempering, like I said. If you don't do this to warm the eggs up a little bit, they kind of shock and they go into, oh no, we're cooking, and they scramble basically. So you need to add a little bit of milk, start whisking it through thoroughly until it starts becoming a bit more liquid. And then we're gonna just add a little bit more milk at a time until we've got a nice smooth consistency before we pour it back in the pan to finish this off. You want to keep doing this until you probably put about half of the milk in. That's looking like about half to me now. So I'm just going to finish whisking this up before I pour this back into the pan. Boom, boom. We're going to pour the rest of this in here. Beautiful. You know what, I can actually smell the custard as well, which is what we want, obviously, which means I'm making custard, which is good. Just make sure you've got all of that delicious flavour in there. Give that a little mix. And then we're gonna put this back on the hob. And this next bit's gonna happen really, really quickly, so you have to keep whisking. So I can already feel the consistency of this changing. And it is, you can see it's kind of thickening and becoming something else, but all of a sudden it will just pop and it'll give some big bubbles and it'll start coming away from the pan. Right, we're gonna take this off the heat now, and I'm just gonna keep whisking it for a few minutes just to make sure everything's incorporated. It obviously has, it's turned into a custard. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna wait for the puff pastry base and the top to finish cooking in the oven. I've just checked, they're not quite golden enough yet, so we will come back to it. But yes, this is looking amazing. That'll give this time to cool down and settle a little bit. And then what we'll do, we'll start putting the finished iced vanilla slice together. So our pastry is almost ready, but what we gotta do, we've got one last step to do with this. I've got some butter. We're gonna add this butter to the custard, and that is just gonna give it an extra smooth, rich and creamy texture. And we're just gonna let the residual heat from the custard, we're gonna let it melt this butter, chopped it into small slices so that we can put it in bit by bit. Just apart from this last bit, we'll just break it up and chuck it in lumps, and we'll just stir that around until it's well incorporated. We're just gonna gently stir this into the custard. Looks like a lot of butter, but we've made a lot of custard. We don't do none of that low-fat shit on this channel. I feel like that guy on Ratatouille, anyone that can cook. You know what I mean? That chef guy he loves. I'm like, yeah, you can. Just gotta love it and give it a go. Right, that's done. Let's go check and see what's going on with our pastry. It's probably done by now. Over here. Let's have a look at this. First glance, not bad. Not bad. Could be a bit thinner, but this will have to do. We cut that in half, and what we're going to try and do, what I'm trying to do unsuccessfully, is to line the dish with this greaseproof paper. So, right, that looks pretty good. And we're going to put this here, and we're going to start pouring this custard with a spatula into our lined tin. Let's get some in there. Oh, my lord, this is absolutely filthy. Let's get that right down on there. And we'll give it a little shake as well, make sure it all settles down. I don't know how this is going to come out yet, so we're going to see together. But so far, I am pleasantly surprised. Oh, all this custard is going in here. I feel like it could have been a bit firmer, but we'll see once it sets in the fridge. I should get all of that in there. I haven't made too much, so that's good. We've made just the right amount for a nice thick custard slice. Yeah, I know, I don't care.
Okay, sorry, I'll take it out.
Okay. No. I can't do it now. No, looks like we made just the right amount. And now that all the custard's in there, we're gonna layer this on top. And then the last thing is to make the icing sugar paste, the glaze, to go on top. So we're gonna get on with that now, right after I go to the shops and buy some. Right guys, I've returned from the shop and I have cane icing sugar. We're gonna need quite a lot, I think, because we've got a big old cake to cover. Put a load of this in here. We put some water in and we'll give this a stir up. I suppose what we're looking for is like runny enough to pour it all over the thing and stiff enough that it firms up a little bit on the top in the fridge. I'm just mixing this with a fork. You could do it with your face or a spoon. Oh yeah. All right, this is looking very good indeed. I've got no technique for this. We'll pour it on and we'll spread it out. Pretty good. It's all coming together now. Right, I'm gonna add some cocoa to that and then we're gonna dribble some lines across it. Right, cocoa powder in hand. I'm gonna put some of this in here and we're gonna mix this in as well just to give it a chocolatey look. Doesn't really have to have chocolate flavour, it just needs to be brown. You could probably do like proper cocoa powder for this to make it darker, but this'll do. Why do things all the same, eh? When you can just do things differently. And what I'm gonna do is actually get a spoon to dribble this. Hey guys, it's been a long time, but we've set the vanilla slices in the fridge. It should be set, so we're gonna take it out. We're gonna cut into it. We're gonna give it a good old taste test. I'm actually really excited about this. Here she is. Look at that. Look how thick that custard is.
The faces that people pull. How do you eat yours?
Yeah, the how do you... Was this a sexual thing that we were talking about earlier? It was, wasn't it? One of our friends was saying, you know, how you eat it and have to lick your fingers and do all sorts of filthy things to finish eating the cup. Yeah, which is, you know, people eat these in the privacy of their own home. Totally understandable. I'm looking forward to a piece. Oh, what about you?
Nope.
No? Jen doesn't eat custard slices. I'm just going to give it a good old taste test. That, for my first ever time making creme patissier, and in general, an entire vanilla slice, can't say no to that. That is absolutely divine. I'm gonna do this again, but first, we're gonna do some other stuff. So I will be dropping hints, but I'm gonna have another video coming soon. We're gonna make something completely and utterly different. And we're gonna do it for the first time together, just like we did with these. So keep your eyes peeled. Thanks for watching this entire video. I realise it's gone on a little bit, but yeah. Vanilla slice that's now completely and utterly fallen apart in my fingers, but it's delicious. I'm gonna make some more. I'll catch you next time.